Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Why is it that someone can disappear from your life for weeks, months, or sometimes even years, and then suddenly text you out of nowhere? Why does a person who once ignored your presence or dismissed your value suddenly decide to reach out like nothing ever happened? And most importantly, why does their message shake your emotions, stir your peace, and pull at your attention even when you promised yourself that you'd moved on? Today we're going to break this down with absolute clarity. You are going to understand the hidden reasons behind these unexpected messages, the truth behind their timing, and the Stoic way to respond without losing your power. Because when someone reaches out after being silent, it's never random, it's never accidental. There is always a motive behind it. And once you understand this from a place of strength, not fear, you become impossible to manipulate, impossible to confuse, and impossible to pull backward. I want you to imagine something. Picture your life as a kingdom, and you are the ruler, not because of arrogance, but because of responsibility. Your emotional world, your time, your peace, your energy, they are the resources of that kingdom. When someone leaves, they are stepping outside the gates, and when they text you out of nowhere, they are knocking again. The question is not, why are they knocking? It's, do they deserve to come back in? Stoic philosophy teaches us that we do not control other people's actions. We only control how we interpret them and how we respond. Epictetus said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." This applies perfectly to surprise messages from people who once walked away, ghosted, ignored, or replaced you. Their text does not define your worth. Their timing does not control your direction. Their words do not determine your emotional temperature. What matters is how you handle the moment. This video is going to give you 8 powerful lessons, rooted in self-worth, unshakable confidence, emotional control, and Stoic wisdom that explain why people text you out of nowhere and exactly how to respond without losing yourself. These are not generic ideas. These are real human truths backed by experience, psychology, and ancient philosophy. You'll learn how silence affects people, how distance forces clarity, how emotional absence reshapes perception, and how your growth creates gravity. If they texted you out of nowhere, it means you are never forgettable. Your presence left an imprint, your energy created memory, and your absence created space they couldn't fill. People come back when something in their life reminds them of what they lost, what they overlooked, what they took for granted, or what they couldn't replace. But that doesn't mean you should instantly open the door. Strong people don't respond with emotion, they respond with evaluation. You are not reacting from old wounds or longing. You are responding from clarity and control. In this journey, you're going to learn why people return when you stop chasing, why your silence speaks louder than your words, why detachment protects you, why growth intimidates those who didn't value you, and how to reclaim your power the moment their name shows up on your screen. Before we begin, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments right now. My response is my power. Say it with intention. Say it with meaning. Say it because from this point forward, no one who vanished gets to control your emotions again. Number 1. They texted because your silence created space they didn't expect. When someone suddenly reaches out after disappearing, one of the strongest reasons is simple. Your silence created a space they didn't expect. People often believe you will always be there. They assume your attention is permanent. They assume your presence is guaranteed. They assume, without even thinking, that you won't change. That's why disappearing seems easy for them. They think they can come back whenever they want. But when you stop speaking, stop chasing, stop checking in, stop giving them the emotional comfort they once enjoyed, something strange happens inside them. They start wondering why their absence didn't break you. They start noticing that you didn't collapse. They start realizing that your world didn't fall apart. And that realization stings their ego more than you know. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Your silence dyed their thoughts with curiosity, confusion, regret, and sometimes fear. They didn't expect you to have that level of control. They didn't imagine you would move forward without seeking closure or answers. They didn't predict that the same person who gave them energy would suddenly shift inward and protect their peace. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is communication. Silence is power. When you stop giving someone attention, they feel the loss of significance. And human beings crave significance more than they admit. Some people text you because they miss your kindness. Some text because they miss your validation. Some text because they miss how you made them feel important. And some text simply because your silence makes them question their own value. But here's the important part. Just because they text does not mean they deserve access again. Silence helped you heal. Silence protected your dignity. Silence rebuilt your emotional balance. So when they finally reach out, don't hand your power away by rushing to reply. Pause, breathe, think, evaluate. You're not chasing anymore. You're choosing. Number 2, they reached out because something in their life shifted. When someone texts you out of nowhere, it's almost never random. Something in their life shifted. Maybe they lost something. Maybe someone else walked away. Maybe their plans fell apart. Maybe the distraction they replaced you with failed. Or maybe, for the first time in a long time, they were alone with their own thoughts, and that silence exposed the truth they've been avoiding. People come back not always because they miss you, but because life humbled them in a way they didn't expect. Stoic philosophy teaches, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Their return is an outside event. You cannot control it. You didn't cause it, but you can control your response. Their message might come from guilt, boredom, loneliness, curiosity, or nostalgia. It might come because someone else rejected them. It might come because their ego demanded reassurance. It might come because they finally realized how rare your loyalty was. Whatever the reason, it is a reflection of their world, not yours. People often return when the chaos settles, when the high they chased fades, when the excitement they ran toward fails to fill the emptiness, when the truth hits them that they misjudged your worth. That internal shift pulls them back into your orbit. But here's the important part. You don't need to bend, break, or shrink to accommodate their sudden change of heart. Their shift does not mean you must shift with them. Their confusion does not need to become your emotional burden. When they text, hold your ground. Don't react emotionally. Don't rush. Don't panic. Don't jump back into old patterns. Stay steady, because nothing is more attractive or more powerful than someone who gains clarity while the other person is still chasing comfort. You are not a backup plan. You are not a temporary fix. You are not their emotional bandage. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I respond with clarity, not emotion. Number 3, they texted because your silence spoke louder than words. When you stopped reaching out, when you stopped checking on them, when you stopped giving energy to someone who wasn't giving it back, you created a silence they weren't prepared for. People get used to your attention. They get used to your presence. They get used to the emotional comfort you provide. And when that comfort disappears, it leaves a noticeable void. Your silence becomes a mirror, and that mirror forces them to face everything they were avoiding when you were still in their life. Stoic wisdom says, silence is a lesson learned through life's loudest moments. Your silence became that lesson. It wasn't cold, it wasn't petty, it wasn't manipulative, it was clarity. You decided to stop fighting for someone who wasn't fighting for you. And in that decision, you reclaimed your self-respect. The moment you withdrew your energy, they felt the shift. Maybe not instantly, but eventually. People don't realize how heavy your presence is until it's gone. Your silence challenged their assumptions. They thought you'd always be there. They thought you'd always reply. They thought you'd always choose them. But you didn't. And that unexpected change disrupted their comfort zone. Silence has a way of forcing people to question their choices. It makes them reflect on how they treated you. It makes them wonder who's giving you the attention they once took for granted. It triggers curiosity, insecurity, and regret, all at once. Silence is not weakness. Silence is power under control. Silence is strength without shouting. Silence is dignity without drama. When you stayed quiet, you weren't seeking revenge. You were choosing peace. And peace is something most people can't create on their own. That's why they reached out. They wanted access to the calm you learned to build within yourself. So when the message comes, remember, your silence wasn't an accident. It was a boundary. And boundaries protect your value. Number 4, they texted because they realized you were the only one who truly understood them. One of the most overlooked reasons someone suddenly reaches out after silence is this. They finally recognize that you were the only person who ever actually understood them. Not just the surface-level stuff, not just the jokes, the routines, the small talk. You understood their emotions, their fears, their patterns, their silence, their moods, the parts of themselves they never explained out loud. And that kind of understanding is rare. People don't notice it when they have it, but they feel the loss deeply when it's gone. The Stoics said, to understand others is wisdom. To understand yourself is enlightenment. But here's the twist. You understood them better than they understood themselves, and they only realized this when you were no longer around to reflect their true self back to them. You listened when they talked without clarity. You saw things they didn't articulate. You recognized their pain before they admitted it. You made them feel safe in ways they didn't even know to value at the time. And when someone gets used to that kind of emotional safety, everything else feels shallow in comparison. No new friend, no new partner, no casual connection can replace a bond built on genuine understanding. So when they texted out of nowhere, it wasn't random. It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't a friendly check-in. It was a reaction to a void they couldn't fill. They realized conversations with others don't hit the same. Their problems feel heavier without your grounding presence. Their emotions feel louder without your calming perspective. They remember how easy it was to talk to you. They remember how seen they felt. And now they notice how unseen they feel without you. Your absence highlighted your emotional intelligence. Your distance amplified your worth. They didn't come back because they suddenly changed. They came back because they finally understood what they lost. Remember this truth. People crave real connection, but many don't recognize it until it's out of reach. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments right now. I am not easily replaced. Number 5. They texted because their life finally caught up with them. Another powerful reason someone suddenly texts you out of nowhere is simple, but often hidden behind excuses, apologies, or vague check-ins. Their life finally caught up with them. All the distractions, the people, the noise, the temporary boosts, the emotional bandages, they all stopped working, and now they're sitting alone with the one thing they tried to avoid, their own truth. You might not realize it, but for a long time, they kept themselves busy so they wouldn't have to face the reality of losing you. They filled their days with anything that kept them from thinking too deeply. The Stoics said, "You must build your life on your own thoughts, not the opinions of others." But the problem is, they weren't building anything. They were running, they were avoiding, they were distracting themselves with whatever felt easier than dealing with the emptiness left behind when you walked away. But life always catches up. The quiet moments arrive. The nights get longer. The noise fades. That's when clarity hits them, hard. That's when memories resurface. That's when they feel the weight of all the things they didn't say, all the efforts they didn't make, all the appreciation they never gave while they still had you close. Not because they suddenly matured overnight, not because they magically fixed themselves, but because the emotional shield they built finally cracked, and the truth they pushed down rose to the surface. They remember your loyalty. They remember your support. They remember how steady you were when everything else in their life was unstable. They remember how your presence felt like peace. And now they're trying to reach out and reconnect with the thing that once grounded them. But here's the part you must understand. Just because they're reaching out doesn't mean you're meant to go back. Their crisis is not your responsibility. Their realization is not your obligation. Their regrets are not your weight to carry. Number 6. They texted because your silence made them curious, then worried, then self-aware. One of the most common reasons someone reaches out after disappearing is because your silence did something they didn't expect. It shifted the power dynamic completely. At first, they might have thought you'd chase them, question them, or try to reconnect. But when you didn't, something in their mind flipped. Your silence created a space they couldn't control, predict, or read. And that's when curiosity slid in. People take the loud ones for granted, but the quiet ones, they make people think. The Stoics said, "Silence is a lesson learned through life's loudest moments." Your silence became the loudest moment in theirs. At first, they wondered if you were upset. Then they wondered if you moved on. Then they wondered if someone else replaced them. Then, finally, they wondered why they even expected your attention in the first place. That's what real power looks like. Not noise, not words, not arguments. Control over your own reactions. Your silence forced them to face a version of reality they never considered. The world does not revolve around them. You are not waiting for them. You are not holding your breath. You are not stuck in place hoping they return. And when someone realizes they are no longer the center of the universe in your story, panic hits. That panic is what causes the "Hey stranger" messages, the random check-ins, the sudden attempts to see how you're doing. They cloak it as friendly curiosity, but underneath it is something deeper. They want to know if they still matter. Your silence made them rethink your value. It made them revisit the moments they dismissed. It made them question why you no longer react. And most importantly, it made them see their own inconsistencies, laziness, or emotional immaturity. That level of self-awareness only hits when the person they underestimated finally stops giving energy. But remember this. Just because they texted doesn't mean you owe them access again. Silence gave you power. Don't trade that power for old patterns or empty words. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments right now. My silence protects my peace and strengthens my power. Number 7. They texted because your growth exposed their stagnation. One of the most powerful reasons someone suddenly reaches out after disappearing is because your growth highlights their lack of it. When you stopped engaging, stopped chasing, stopped explaining yourself, and instead put your energy into becoming stronger, more focused, and more confident, something started to shift. People can ignore your presence, but they cannot ignore your progress. The moment you began elevating, they felt it, even from a distance. And that's when the message showed up. Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish." When you pulled away, some people probably assumed you were upset, hurting, or lost without them. But instead of breaking down, you leveled up. You gave them silence and gave yourself growth. And nothing exposes someone's comfort zone more than seeing a person they underestimated rise without them. They texted because seeing you move forward made them question their own life. They saw you glowing differently, speaking differently, carrying yourself differently. Maybe you changed your habits, your circle, your standards, or your mindset. Maybe you stopped tolerating things you once accepted. Maybe you built the peace they never had the courage to create. Growth has a funny way of making people return, not because they suddenly appreciate you, but because they feel left behind. Your improvement triggered their insecurity, their regret, or their curiosity. They want to know what changed. They want to know how you're doing better without them. They want to know if there's still a place for them in your world now that you've built something they didn't help you build. But you must understand, a message driven by insecurity is not the same as a message driven by respect. Their return doesn't automatically earn them access. Your growth is not a doorway for them to walk back through. It's proof that you never needed them to begin with. So don't let anyone who failed to support your past suddenly feel entitled to belong in your future. Number 8. They texted because your absence amplified your value. One of the most overlooked truths about human behavior is that absence doesn't just make the heart grow fonder, it makes value undeniable. When you walk away, when you stop answering calls, replying to texts, or giving attention to someone who once dismissed you, the silence creates a vacuum. That vacuum reveals what they lost, what they took for granted, and what they can no longer ignore. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Your absence forces them to reflect, because for the first time, they cannot rely on your energy, your presence, or your patience. When someone texts after your absence, it's often a mirror of realization. They realize the calm, stability, and support they thought was endless is actually finite. They feel the weight of what they ignored, the kindness they misused, and the patience they exploited. Your departure doesn't punish them, it simply teaches them the value of what they lost. And the most important thing you can do here is recognize that their outreach is not about you needing them. It's about them finally seeing the worth that was always yours. But here's the key. Never let absence become a tool for manipulation. Your silence is a shield, not a signal to be bargained with. If they text, respond from a place of power, not emotion. Your value is defined by your boundaries, your growth, and your peace, not by how quickly you allow someone back in. Your absence amplifies your self-worth, showing them that respect, attention, and love are not automatic. They are earned. The text is not an obligation, it's an insight. And insight does not demand action, it commands reflection. Now that you've walked through every layer of understanding why they texted out of nowhere, It's time to step into your full power. Silence is not weakness, it is strategy. Walking away, holding boundaries, and prioritizing your peace teaches others how to treat you, and more importantly, it teaches you the unshakable truth. Your value is never dependent on someone else's attention. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Every text, every ping, every unexpected message is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their awareness of it. Take action today. Reclaim your emotional space. Respond intentionally, not impulsively. Protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Every moment you resist reacting out of fear or desire proves your self-mastery. Every choice to remain grounded, calm, and silent when provoked solidifies your unbreakable discipline. Remember, people will always show you who they are, but your power lies in how you respond or don't respond. Let silence, confidence, and inner strength define your life.